I'm about to do this on the hottest day of the year. The S14 is broken and I need to fix it. I also need to put a roll cage in this thing. So cage prep is probably the worst thing you could do on a hot day. You want a tip for success? Don't do it on the hottest day. So as I said before, safety was probably my #1 concern right now. And what I'm gonna do is upgrade everything that I don't see fit, which would be harnesses and the roll cage. So I have some more safety equipment coming. It's on the way. The cage kit should be coming in soon. And I need to rip out this interior, get everything down to bare metal and ready to weld in. So I'm gonna get started on tearing this thing down and see if I find anything else that needs something while I'm in there. I'm sure I'll find something. Goodness. Ew. It's gonna be quite a mess. Can't wait to fix all that. Ew. Alright, that's done. Gross. Oh, it's not in that bad a shape. It's kind of gross. Gotta clean all this out. Probably get some of the wiring out of here first, and then get the cage out and the dash and all that, and start cleaning things up. All right, I got most of the yucky stuff out of the way. Carpet was pretty gross. Probably gonna stay out of the car. I don't want to put it back. Some of the wires tucked out of the way, and then yeah, I think I'm ready to just start pulling the cage out. So pretty simple. I mean, I added a harness bar for safety and some other stuff, so it's really not it's not gonna be too hard to take out. You can see in the floor here, it's just bolted. The cage pads are just bolted in the floor, and then every single joint has some kind of bolt in it. So we'll start with the A-pillar bars and the halo and get that out first, and then we'll pop these guys out, and then these back there, and everything should be able to move forward. You crack those free and it should be pretty easy to come out. So pop the cage out and then start cleaning things up. Oh. One bar. Whoa. Whoa. Well, that's it. Cage is out. Now it's time to start stripping some other stuff down, and then working on getting out all the sound deadening and all the other BS out of the way. Start grinding the real messy, dirty part. Yay! Actually, let me show you, because now that the cage is out, I've exposed some other problems with this car. So you can see in this back well here, this shit. Expanding foam. So the intent of the expanding foam was a good idea, right? It's just to keep the smoke out. As the D-Max over fenders were put on, we'll kind of cut some stuff back, which has some cracks in it, and would definitely have tire smoke come through when you're drifting. So the idea was fine to use expanding foam to cover up those cracks and keep the smoke out of the cabin. But why that's a bad idea is this is pretty dang flammable. So there's a lot of it in there. If the tire were to catch fire, that would really go up and it'd be very difficult to put out. So I want to remove all of that stuff, especially because I'll be welding back there, and I don't want any chance of this going up in flames near the fuel cell and all that stuff. So it was a good idea, probably just the wrong material to use. I'm making a little bit of progress, but I'm kind of at the point where I need my compressor. I am waiting for the electrician to show up. He should be here in a couple days to run some more power so I can have a compressor and I can run my air tools and cut out stuff like this will have to be cut out, and I'm gonna trim off all the useless bracketry and stuff like that, and then yeah, I'm gonna grind off as much as I can to get a little weight savings out. If I'm not gonna have a full interior, I'm gonna just get rid of as much as possible, plug some holes so smoke and water is not gonna get in here. Just do as much as I possibly can before the cage shows up. I have access to all the wiring, which is probably my least favorite thing. My least favorite thing to do, and my least favorite thing about this car. So, gonna try and cut some stuff apart and investigate what's going on here, maybe get a better plan, and try and get most of it out. Try to remember where everything is so I can start it. I'll do my best to keep everything together. I might even try and fix some things while I'm in here, but I want to get it out of the car so I can just be free to grind and do all the stuff that is necessary for the roll cage. So I'm going to try and get out as much as possible without damaging anything and try to remember where everything goes. Alright, what is going on? Let's get access to some stuff. Alright, that looks sketch. This is the CAN bus to the IC7 dash and the wideband. A little multi-purpose there. It's definitely not an ideal setup here. Oof. This is rough. Wow, I can't wait to redo all this. So this was all done basically at the track. So I had a big problem at the track and we tried our best to do this at night with no real lights. So it was not put together well. I'm gonna investigate this a little further and try and get everything taken out. Yeah, it's just bugging me. So this is all gonna be redone. Like I was saying before, this is kind of stage one of what this car is gonna do. So the roll cage, cleaning some things up, doing the wiring, making sure everything is very good to drive, better than it has been in the past. Once I'm done with stage 5 of Drift Appalachia, this car is gonna go down under the knife again, and I'm gonna make a lot more changes. I have some upgrades to make, probably the biggest upgrades I've ever done to any of my cars, to be honest. And I'm gonna make this car what I really want it to be. Oh boy, what a nest. All right, so cage out, all that jazz, cleaned up, got the wiring somewhat out, got the panel out, got the ECU out and all that stuff. Kind of traced where the problem starts. I might actually dig into that tomorrow. So today I have to leave because I gotta go drop off another car to get a new look. So I will pick this back up tomorrow and start working on that wiring. Okay, I'm back in the garage. I got distracted by a couple other things I have going on. I have a bunch of events, like I said, and some stuff took precedence. But I'm back in the shop with a new upgrade. So I finally got a compressor, which is awesome. I plumbed that stuff up the other day, and I need it for this next few steps. I'm gonna be using a grinder and all kinds of stuff, cutting tools. Everything I need is pretty dependent on a compressor. So I finally got a compressor, which is awesome, and I can get back to working on the S14. All right, let's take a look at what's going on here. You can see what actually happened with this expanding foam and what I'm trying to do. So here is some of the bits of expanding foam that was in there. And you can see here, daylight through the chassis. And you can see it's pretty freaking destroyed. So as the tires delam, you can see that it caught these little bits and kind of pulled them out. This was slit in order to bring that up for clearance for the wheel. I mean, it's pretty common to cut those and then bend it up and weld it so it's out of the way, but it wasn't welded. So when the tire caught it, it kind of ripped that stuff up. And yeah, that's what happens when you're doing like big burnouts and stuff, which whatever. But I plan on fully cutting that stuff out and redoing all that. You can see how tattered that is and why that would let smoke and debris inside the cabin. So what I'm going to do to remedy that for now is, after I get the cage and everything welded in, I'm probably going to plate this off with something just to cover it up and keep stuff from coming inside the cabin. But I have to get that out so I can weld. I'm worried about that stuff catching fire inside the shop, and I don't want that. Also, it's just horrible fumes and things that I don't want. So I'm going to try and clean everything as much as I possibly can. I was looking for dry ice near me. I can't find anything for the sound deadening, so I'm just going to chip away at it with what I can right now. And then I may find some dry ice within a day or so. Try and get some tomorrow. Once you get going, it's really not too bad. It's so nasty too, from all the tires, from all the drift events. All right, so that's about the worst thing you could do, and I'm done with it, so good. A lot of junk. Cleaned up the interior pretty nice. I still have to make another pass at it. That's one of my least favorite things to do, and I didn't have dry ice, I didn't have air tools, so it makes it even worse when you're doing it by hand. Realistically, it wasn't that bad, so whatever. You have to do it, move on. Now I can move to the worst part, which is the body glue. The body glue, seam sealer, all that stuff is absolutely the worst. It's really hard to get out of crevices. You can't really get it all. You just try and do your best. And you don't want it in the weld for porosity. You don't want the fumes in the car. You don't want to light anything on fire. So you really try and get all that stuff out of there and cleaned up out of the way. So I'm gonna move on to that, which is terrible. I'm gonna do a pretty half-assed job today, and then I'm gonna go back tomorrow and clean up everything as best as I can with acetone and some other things before I get to grinding on it. And once I get grinding, then I'll be happy. Once I'm grinding and getting it ready to weld in, I'll be good. But right now, this stuff sucks. Just gotta do it. Just gotta bear down and do it. So I've been cleaning this thing as much as I can. Emily even came out to help me. We were scraping away. It's looking pretty good right now. I knew today would be the day that Cage Kits would show up, and it did. However, they put it in the front of my house, which is really far away, and I don't have any means to bring it back here. So I'm gonna have to disassemble the grate and bring it piece by piece back here. It's looking pretty darn good in here. Everything's really well cleaned up. I'm gonna have to remove some of the wiring harness and things like that, but it's looking pretty good. So I wanna get the Cage Kit in here, check everything out, and then finalize where the pads are. I have a really good understanding of where they need to go, but if I can put them in place, then I can really clean around where I need to weld and make sure that I don't really have any problems when I'm welding it and nothing's catching on fire, there's no glue, there's no paint, none of that stuff in the way. I'm pretty happy with where it's at right now, but it's gonna have to go a little bit deeper. Anyway, let's go check out this Cage Kit and the pallet that's in my driveway. And I have to disassemble it and bring it back here. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Anyway, here's the Cage Kit. Arrived on a pallet, and I don't really have a means to get it back. It's fairly heavy, and I think it's just heavy because of the wood, keeping it straight. The tubing is not too much, but all right, let's take this thing apart and get it back there.